mayor,
My
okay,
family
I'm free to
did it.
run it, but what other villages go through this nonsense? Nonsense.
Did you find it? Where is it? Are you gonna read it, or what are we gonna do here?
I'm not gonna read it.
Okay, let's carry on. George?
I just think that everybody here has the right to know that those types of comments and accusations open up the village to severe liability.
Actually, the next one is the mayor.
And this needs to be addressed because there could be serious repercussions from such allegations. I think that the board should contact the village attorney and see what action should be taken.
Absolutely, he don't deserve to make an accusation like that and throw it out, and let the whole village and town take that opinion when it's not true. Every action should be taken to get rid of this mayor. You don't speak, what do we want him for? How anybody could sit in this meeting all these months, since this man has been mayor, and hold their thoughts is ridiculous. It's like dealing with a child. And let's put him in timeout, maybe then he'll speak.
I have another question. One of the articles in the paper stated that the trustees' legal fees were out of the taxpayers' money when this went to court at the time with money.
The trustees believe the village's legal fees, yes, they did.
Pardon?
The village attorney defended that position, yes. And he was paid out of the taxpayers' money.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Which the mayor had said prior to this, the loser usually pays all fees, but I haven't seen Tony enough of that. Is this what you're talking about?
Hey, I don't know, you read the other?
No, you made the accusation, you tell me.
Every beneficiary you need, and there's money unaccounted for, that's all.
That's not a sentence. Did you read the whole thing?
Yes, I did.
And
So
what did
you
you say
put it,
about it?
you put it in the paper on the basis of you think there might be money.
He says there's money missing, there's $40,000.
Two articles, not one, two. Because I got a scrapbook of all these things going on in the paper. I don't need a camera or a recorder or anything like that. I get it out of the paper and put it scrapbook. So when I die in 25 years, you can see my scrapbook.
Yes or no on this. Is this the paragraph you're talking about?
I'm referring to the money that's unaccounted for the year 2009, 2007.
And what money is that, Jim? What money?
Money's out of the general fund.
How could anything
Show me.
be unaccounted for when the AG is not done, Jim?
They have preliminarily looked at it, and that's
No,
what
they
they
have
said.
not looked at it. You're making a false accusation and a false statement yet again.
Yep,
You
Sure I am.
continue to do so.
This was put in
sure I am.
You have two-bit comments that go nowhere.
the date on this. Actually, it was before. There's no way they could have looked at it.
Can I just have another
Next
comment?
inconsistency, please.
Maureen has worked here for 14 years, and when this mayor comes in, all of a sudden, there's money missing. What happened to the other 13? Or did she hide it really well back then? What a joke. And he's right, all the stuff you read in the paper is nonsense. Nonsense. You're wasting people's time, energy, and money. You're not in the best interest of anybody in this village.
And the post does a piss poor job.
A terrible
of
job.
reporting.
They do not side with the people.
They signed with you. He's better off having McCarty from the Saratoga over here.
For the record, I think it's totally irresponsible for the mayor to put this in the paper, and I think it's equally irresponsible for the Post-Star to have printed it without looking into it.
Don't sign with that.
Correct. Libel, slander,
Oh, God.
It's baseless,
exactly.
obviously, so you elected him.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Because he chose not to even bother coming to my doorstep to drop off his propaganda.
You're not going to answer the question. You don't feel any commitment here to answer this.
We pay you to do this, so do your thing, Jane.
Yeah, how can you refuse? How can you actually sit there and
You can't.
refuse?
I said it's in there, and that's the basis for my argument. And I think the AVs will,
So it's a court lion or
Confirm
it's a
that.
paper lion?
court.
Oh, of
The
course,
court
the
documents, did
attorney,
you accuse?
The court documents, my attorney spoke on my behalf, and he said at that point in time, he was not accusing her. That's exactly what he said.
oh,
So
that's
you
not
are
what
based
the
on
paper
this.
sounded like.
So,
And another thing, it's funny that whatever attorneys you hire, that man's been around this area for years and years, his father, and he's only not good for Mayor Sullivan. Funny he could work for
And do you know
everybody
that
else.
he's been let go from the village of Greenwich?
Oh,
We're not
please.
the village of
You
Greenwich.
You're
don't-
not the village of Greenwich.
You don't know that, but I have talked
Well,
to
you know
them.
what,
You don't know that?
my daughter
We're not
has
the
an
village
issue
of
going on with the village of Greenwich, and they act just like you.
Yeah.
That's why it's taken her 2 years to get rid of chickens on the main street.
Great.
That's right, great. No, it's not, it's abusing
And I believe
everybody else's
your daughter
rights.
is involved in that, so I don't think we need to go into the discussion.
You brought it up, Mayor Sullivan.
I said the village of Greenwich, I didn't bring that issue
Well,
up.
excuse me, except we can only talk about your issue. Your personal issue. It's a joke, you're a joke. You're a liar. You sit right there.
Thanks.
You're a bold-faced liar. And how all these people don't come to these meetings every month and tell you the same thing is unreal to me. You're just lucky I don't live here, but I'll come to your meetings.
I'm very lucky you don't live here.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be a good, come a friend of yours, Mayor Sullivan. Just like your other friends you have.
Anybody can come.
But,
I would ask the mayor, who is the source of his information within the controller's office?
I'm not gonna go into that, because there could be a pending investigation in the coming months.
Also could be a pending investigation into somebody that you claim is leaking this information directly to you.
It could be.
Oh, that could be.
what a joke, what a joke. You
That's
sit here and play
interesting.
cat
That
and
should
mouse
be clearly
game.
reflected in the minutes, because if there's someone in the controller's office that's leaking information to you,
He's lying.
I know he is,
This is
but
illegal.
he's gotta be called on it.
He couldn't have leaked the information if they didn't have a copy.
No, I know,
before
I
he
know.
wrote the letter.
They don't
to the
do
editor.
that stuff anyways.
It's a mystery,
They
it's a
don't do
mystery
that.
man. He's got a mystery source of information.
The letter to the editor was written prior to the 09 AUDs being done,
Yep.
so, or the 07, 08, so the 07's being done, so
Well,
there's no
it's
way they could
clear.
have.
It's clear.
They didn't have a copy of them to look at, so there's no way to have any information. Any more inconsistencies you want to discuss?
No, we could start discussing your inconsistencies if you want.
Yeah.
Well, how about answer your own first before you jump to somebody else?
Gail, please.
No.
Tim, are you gonna hold the meeting, or are you gonna
Hey,
let
look,
people?
Jim,
I
They're-
spoke, you
they're
didn't
asking
wanna
you
hold
questions.
it,
Do
so
we
you
even
sit
know
there
where
and
Gail is
stop.
from?
We got all night
Are you
to
gonna,
stay here,
are you gonna do
We
where
got
Gail
all
This
is
is
night.
what your job is, Mayor, to listen to complaints.
Are we gonna ask where Gail is from?
Well, your
or where
friend
she
Mike
lives?
McLaughlin put the editorial in the paper. He's from the town.
That's
So,
right.
he puts a letter in the paper. Does he come to the meetings? and
Yeah, he
say,
does.
"Yeah,
And he's in here setting up before the meeting even starts.
Yeah, and his information wasn't correct either, whether he felt he wasn't taking a side
Is he a friend of yours?
taken.
Is he a friend of yours?
Is he
Oh, is he a friend of yours? In fact, you attacked me at the last
Who's-
board meeting with Mike McLaughlin.
Whose friend is Gail's?
I'm
he
not
a friend of
addressing
yours?
any of my
Doesn't
friends
matter.
here.
Not the line to answer a question with it.
Yeah, if he's a cat and mouse, he's not
Yeah.
gonna answer nothing unless it pertains to him.
Hey, no problem.
What
Why
a
don't we
joke.
have a little quiet, one person at a time, so we know what's going on? And if you don't believe me, if I could stand up and yell with the best of you.
I'm gonna make you sergeant at once.
Anybody else got anything to say? Raise your hand and stand up. There's this lady right here.
First of all, I have you on videotape threatening me.
I didn't threaten you. What I tell you to do?
We're gonna see it on YouTube.
Oh,
Good, I hope they get a good picture, because I tell you what my name is,
Do
you
you have a
wanna know
comment
what
from
it
the board?
is.
Kathy, do you have a comment from the board?
Yeah, why weren't the AUDs filed for years on them? Why wasn't the AUD for 2009 done this year?
Because you need to do the older ones first.
Why weren't the older ones done? When are they due?
It moves 30 days after, or 60 days after the end of the fiscal year.
And so why haven't they been done this year? You blamed it on George before.
Oh, we didn't
You
blame
blamed it on the
George.
No,
previous
that's, I think
administration.
No.
that's accurate. I could explain that if you want to do it.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
During that time, the Village of Victory was the lead agency and was responsible for the building of the new sewer plant and the project and the funding and the grants and everything else. It was the water plant, excuse me. The two water plants, the one in Schuylerville and the one in Victory. We were inundated with work at that point.
And so did you
Absolutely,
get a waiver from the state not to?
You asked him a question,
He's
did he
going
answer?
on and
Let me
on.
answer his question. After I'm done, then you can
Did
say.
the state give the village
Let me
permission not to file the AUDs? Did you ask for a waiver? Did you ask for permission not to file them for 6 years or 8 years or whatever it's been?
In view of the fact that
Did you or not?
Are you gonna let us
Were
speak?
you listening?
Let him
I've
answer.
heard this story before.
So what do you
I
ask?
have.
Again, would you ask?
I want to hear the answer.
I'm
Did the
trying to
village have permission not, did you ask for a waiver? Did you go to the state, or did you just tell Maureen, don't bother filing that? Why was there so much work? Why did you have one person doing so much work? Why was she doing 2 jobs at the same time?
Because
And getting paid from 2 different agencies for the same time? Why was the village doing
Let George answer your question before you ask any more.
Please don't.
You got that on television?
You're yelling at him.
You're yelling.
You're yelling at him.
Yeah,
That's all right.
You're yelling at him.
right.
Right,
Time out, Corey.
she's done. Dorothy.
I don't know.
Hear George's long explanation.
Okay,
I
you
want
don't
to
want
hear
to
George's answer.
I don't think he should really have to answer, the mayor don't answer, I raise my hand, the mayor don't answer,
I'm willing to
don't
answer, but I
matter.
won't be
Do your
allowed to
homework,
because
you're
I
supposed
keep
to know
getting
everything.
questions fired
On
out.
the what?
You know everything, do your homework. I said you know everything, I didn't call you a name, I said you know everything, obviously, you got this forward, but, George, I wouldn't think anybody has to answer, the mayor don't.
This isn't,
We
this
need an answer
is
from the
Ryan
mayor. Our mayor made an
Why?
accusation.
asking the mayor questions.
We need somebody to answer a question. Made an accusation in a public forum, saying there's $40,000 missing.
I mean,
That's very offensive, and leaves his own for liability when he does that sort of thing. He will not answer the question. There's a high level of frustration in this room, can't you see? There's a very high level of frustration when you don't get an answer from somebody who's getting paid to do a job.
Democracy in its infancy, but we want to dissolve the village.
Maybe that's the real issue here.
No. Oh, I guess we're not gonna answer the question, George. It was a rhetorical question.
I think it was, yes, it is.
No, Jim's not gonna answer the question for the record. It was baseless. So we have to, what's that?
Gail?
I have a different question, it has nothing to do with that. I want to ask Mayor Sullivan why he stated in an article in the newspaper why Mr. Sullivan was ineligible to be on the water board.
There were 2 things that I feel the reason George should not be on the water board. One, he does not get water, and because he doesn't get water, just getting water, I don't feel that he would have as much a responsibility for being on the board for that, and as well as he does not pay for water. Those 2 things combined, I feel,
Okay,
are very
well,
important.
maybe you should read the intermunicipal agreement, because it says in the intermunicipal agreement on page 20, eligibility for appointment.
I understand what the
It
eligibility
says
is.
you must be 18 years of age.
I understand what it is.
Let me
Gail.
finish.
I understand what it is.
I would like to finish.
Go ahead.
That they must be a citizen of the United States, and they must be a resident of the village that appoints them. George meets all of those criteria. George does not get water simply because the water line does not go down as far as his house.
That is
Now, if the village would like to invest about $10,000 and bring George water, I'm sure that he would be glad to get water.
Yes, so would I, because I don't get it either.
That's right. So you don't have any bearing because it says in here that he is completely eligible to be a member of the water board.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
say he was ineligible to be a member of the water board. I said my personal opinion was
Yeah,
that
but
I
that
think George
doesn't
should be on the
have
board.
anything to do. To be appointed, you have to meet this criteria. Feelings don't come into it.
That's right. Your personal opinion based on
There are
his
other things that he did in the past that are considered by at any rate not very nice on the water board.
Because I'm not going to